36, 37, and 38. You shall make a plate of gold and engrave on it, like the engraving of a signet, holy to the Lord. And you shall fasten it on the turban by a cord of blue. It shall be on the front of you, the turban. It shall be on Aaron's forehead, and Aaron shall bear any guilt from the holy things that the people of Israel consecrate as their holy gifts. It shall regularly be on his forehead, that they may be accepted before the Lord. Okay, so this golden crown or mitre, you shall make a plate of pure gold and engrave on it, like the engraving of a signet, holy to the Lord. Okay, this plate of pure gold is called a zeitz, and it means flower, blossom, or diadem. So somehow this may have had some type of flower symbolism on it, like a petal, blossom, or something, or maybe even wings. I don't know.
That middle thing in the middle kind of looks like a lily.
Well, that's interesting. That may be.
Or tulip.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what crowns.
Sort of a flower. Every flower has a hollow part.
Okay. Well, the pure gold's going to reflect who? Christ. Pure gold. Okay. And he has written his name on us, hasn't he? Verse 30. Revelation 7:2-3 says, Then I saw another angel ascending rising from the sun, right from the rising of the sun, with the seal of the living God, and he called with a loud voice to the four angels who had given power to harm the earth and sea, saying, Do not harm the earth and sea or trees until we have sealed the servants of our God on their foreheads. Okay. So this is God's seal on us. Okay, this word zeitz is tied to, what's that sound like? Zit, that's right. It's tied to that, tassels. God told the sons of Israel to put on the wings of their garments. So that's another reason why these may look like wings. And it comes from the word zeitz, which means blossom or flower or wings.
You know, I was looking at that garment, what's it called? The ephod. You know, I've always wondered, how do you make a garment with no seams? But I was looking at a shawl that I got several years ago, and basically it could be made exactly that way. They just took one strip of material, one big strip of material, and you would just cut a hole in the middle of it for the head, and then just drape it over and tuck it in at the sides, and the material would fold over like that. Yeah, kind of like that, and then the material would fold over the sleeves, has the sleeves. You can tack it underneath if you want, or you can stitch it, but you don't have to cut it.
Okay.
I thought that was, I never thought about that
I'm
before,
sure they
but that's,
wove a piece of cloth that was of the appropriate size, probably just for that very purpose,
Yeah.
which is probably a very high quality.
Probably looks square too.
It wasn't square, it would have been,
a strip.
you know, like long rectangle, like a table.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I
Rectangle.
meant square was it? It wouldn't make any difference how it was put on. It'd be the same all the way around.
Front, same, equidistant, front and back. Okay. All right. So, this mitre probably looked like a crown. You know, and it would have had the name Yehovah Kodesh, holy unto the Lord. Kodesh Le Yehovah, that's what it says. Kodesh
Is that what that says
Le
on that?
Yehovah. Yeah. Here's another one. You can see it a little better. Kodesh Le Yehovah, holy unto the Lord. So that's what the plate's going to say on there. Verse 37. And you shall fasten olive tav it on the turban by a cord of blue, and it shall be on the front of the turban. Okay, olive tav is it, O2, and it means it. Turban is mitz nafet, and it means diadem or mitre. Cord of blue, patil tekelet. That's going to picture the law, or heaven, or priest. And then it says, it shall be on the front of the turban, on the face of the turban, is what it says. So that's what it'll look like. 38, it shall be on Aaron's forehead. Aaron shall bear any olive tav gilt from the holy things that the people of Israel consecrate as their holy gifts. It shall regularly be on his forehead, that he may be accepted before the Lord. Regularly should be continually. Okay, so this is going to be on his forehead. This is where the conscience dwells, right? In our minds. So we should have a clear conscience before God. His name and glory should always be on the forefront of our minds. Olive tav guilt. Aaron shall bear the guilt from the offerings. Okay, he pictures Christ who's going to bear the sin of the people. And you see how the olive tav will help you find it. He's going to bear the olive tav guilt, this guilt. Christ is the one who bears our guilt. And this priest is picturing that. Aaron wears this so that the people may be accepted. He bears holiness and sin. He's holy unto the Lord, but he's bearing the people's sin. Christ is holy unto the Lord, but he bore our sin. Contrast the name on priest and the name on the people that are sealed in the tribulation to the harlot. Okay. Remember with the scriptures we just read that you're going to seal those who are his, and those who are not his, guess what? They're going to go through tribulation, right? Okay, King Uzziah illegally burned incense before the Lord. Anybody remember that? He went in before the Lord. He was a king. Are kings supposed to go in before the Lord? He did, didn't he? Anybody remember what happened to him? Leprosy broke out on his forehead. So he evidently didn't have holy unto the Lord on his forehead. Did he? And he went before the Lord on his own merits, his own will. Not God calling him in there. He didn't hear the bells. He didn't have any on. God made sure he had leprosy all the rest of the days of his life. Ezekiel 9:4, the inhabitants of Jerusalem and the ones that were repentant and seeking salvation were marked with the tav, a cross on their forehead, and they were spared execution. And God connects this, Ezekiel 9:4, to Revelation 7:3. Do not harm the earth or the seas or the trees until we have sealed the servants of our God on their foreheads. The 144,000. Okay. We are sealed on our foreheads, our conscience, with knowledge. We know whether we're saved or not. Okay, this isn't a physical mark. This is a spiritual mark. Okay, so let's contrast that to the harlot in Revelation 17:4-5. The woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet and adorned with gold and jewels and pearls. Anybody see those colors? Where do you recognize those?
Oh my goodness.
So here's the harlot wearing purple, scarlet, gold, and pearls are white, which is the same thing that the priests were supposed to wear. She's an imitation. Okay? Holding in her hand a golden cup full of abominations and impurities of her sexual immorality. And on her head was written the name of mystery, Babylon the Great, mother of prostitutes, and the earth's abomination. And notice that these are the same colors of Christ's colors. the same colors of the priest's colors, the Melchizedek colors. The harlot is imitating God. And on her forehead, the name will not be a good name. Mystery Babylon, the great mother of prostitutes and earth abominations.
That's what Satan does. He imitates.
Imitates. A mirror image opposite. But looks like,
But it's not.
yeah, he's got all the same colors, doesn't he? But he's not. Okay, when you violate your conscience, you tread on God's holiness, because God put that conscience there for you to know right from wrong. And this is a serious issue. This is a life or death issue, heaven or hell. Okay, your conscience is what convicts you of wrong. It means with knowledge, conscience. And if you're willing to go against what you know is right, it's not a good place to be. And that's why in the New Testament, God was saying, if God has convicted you that that's what you need to do, you better do it. Or don't do it. Doesn't matter what anybody else is doing. Whether it's their law versus yours. If God has convicted you to don't do it or do it, you better don't do it or do it. Okay? Okay? And God should be on our conscience continually. Okay? His glory and honor. And our minds need to be kept holy, not corrupted by impurity. Okay? Understand this. We can defile holiness, can't we? We can be holy and be unclean, right? Holy just means set apart. We can be set apart, but we can touch something unclean. Okay, but we cannot holify. That's my word, it's a new word. Make holy impurity. Only God can do that. Haggai touches on this. Look at this. Thus says the Lord of hosts, as the priests ask the law, if someone carries holy meat into the fold of his garment and touches with his fold bread or stew or wine or oil or any kind of food, does it become holy? And the priest said, no. So you can take what's holy and touch something that's not holy, and it can't make it holy. Okay. Then Haggai said, well, if someone who's unclean by contact with a dead body touches one of those holy things, does it become unclean? And the priest answered and said, it becomes unclean. So a holy thing can become unclean by something unholy coming in contact with it. Okay, and this is showing us something spiritually. We are holy. We are set apart. But we can become unclean. We can have bad thoughts. We can do bad things. We can have bad words. And we can think bad things and do bad things. So we can become unclean until we confess those to God and He takes those away. But I can't come up here and touch somebody that's robbing a store and now all of a sudden, ting, he's now set apart. He has to make that choice. And God has to be the one to do it.
Like the man on the cross.
That's right. That's a very good point, Bob. That's a very good one. Both of those guys were mocking Jesus when they first started. And all of a sudden, one guy was like, we deserve to be here. And he said, remember me when you come into your kingdom. So he changed his mind right there on the cross about who Christ was. And God said, today you'll be with me in paradise. The other guy didn't. At that point, he was made holy. He was set apart from all the other people. The robber that he was with, or whoever he was, insurrectionist or whatever he did.
You know, he could have been a murderer. It
Yeah.
don't make any difference what it was.
It doesn't make any difference. He was at that point set apart and become holy. Okay. But we still walk around in this world. We still get our feet dirty. And God said, you get your feet dirty. We're going to be talking about that coming up here in the next chapters. But once God makes you holy, you are washed. You don't need to be washed again. Well, that's when we do the consecration of the priest. That's going to be coming up when we consecrate the priest. You'll understand that better, what was going on there. Okay, and then this word regularly should be continually.